Hello and welcome everyone to Relationships and Astrology. We're looking at the new moon in Pisces, and I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz on Long Island.
Well, Armand, I mean, there is a lot of water going to be in the skies there for this new moon. I mean, we're kind of really swimming, diving, snorkeling. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but it just feels like the potential for a lot of big emotions and a lot of confusion around what these emotions are is kind of going to be really high for this new moon, both in relationships and just within ourselves, really.
It's not a quiet new moon by any stretch of the imagination. It's sextile to Mars and Uranus, which means that Mars and Uranus are trying to each other, which is good. That right, innovative action. But it's a new moon, which is not really a time for action. So you're sort of left in this kind of, what do you do here?
Yeah, it just feels like so emotional. I mean, it's also a very psychic, very intuitive moon because, it's that Pisces moon. But there could be a tendency. See, I think there's lots of potential. There's the potential for some romance, but is the romance real, or is it just a fantasy in our mind? Are we kind of dreaming? Or there's also the potential to go into kind of woe is me, that kind of like whiny kind of victim stance of like, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me, yeah,
Tell me about it.
exactly, yeah. So I mean, it's like, there could be so much, um
Yeah.
or it could be, I mean, a really good time to, I mean, really, this is kind of a really good time to potentially actually connect with people who have passed on. So it's like, if you kind of feel like you really want to kind of just go for a nice walk and connect with, people, your loved ones, this is probably a really good time to do it. But in terms of people around us on planet Earth, there's, yeah,
we
there's
have
a
we
lot of
have we have reached now the pinnacle of it all, where we are recommending relationships. Connect with the dead, stay away from the living. Connect with the dead this month. Okay. That's terrific. Doesn't get much better than this, folks.
Yeah, well, I mean, the potential is there. I mean, because there's confusion. And with the living, there could be a lot of confusion. There could be a lot of miscommunication because Mercury is retrograde. There could be hopes, there could be ideals, but really, are people going to show up? That's the big question.
Actually, the moon is, as you were saying before, trying to the nodes, or trying to the north node. So we have the sun and the moon trying to the north node. There's certainly a very intuitive, spiritual side to this new moon, and yet, we have Mars and Uranus in Earth signs. We still have Saturn and Pluto, and Ceres has moved on to Aquarius now, but we have plenty of stuff in Capricorn. There's an earthiness to this. There is. I think that you, on the one hand, you're a little bit fogged out, and on the other hand, you kind of want to do something practical. You want to ground yourself a little bit. You want to do something earthy.
I think also there's the idealization of unconditional love. So I think there is that dream of meeting your soulmate, of being with somebody who loves you forever unconditionally. So I think all of that is in the mix. And yet, there is that earthiness, but there's also a kind of, that earthiness has some fear attached to it because, our security is being challenged at the moment. There's a lot going on in the world when you think of health issues like the coronavirus and, just the planet that is undergoing, like certainly in the UK, there's been a lot of floods recently. We've had storms here in Ireland. So it's like what we rely on doesn't feel so solid. So all of this is mixed in to give this kind of new moon, this, the seeding something new, a new start, where we're really wondering what is really going on. And I think, we like to kind of know what our feet are standing on. And at the moment, that's uncertain. So I think there really is likely to be quite a bit of confusion in relationships. So, maybe give each other a little bit of slack and just don't don't believe everything you hear and see, because it may appear one way, but really it could be very, very different in reality.
Believe everything we say.
Yes, of course. Yes, yes,
We're, being,
yes,
we're
but
not
not
being
what.
deceptive or anything like that.
Not at all, not at all. But don't believe everyone else.
Yeah, it is definitely. I would say that it's hard. It's hard not to act with all of the Mars Uranus energy. It's hard to know what to do though, and that's just the conundrum that you get. I mean, that's the situation.
So really, we're saying ground yourself, do whatever grounding works for you, ground yourself, be as solid as you can be, open your spiritual channels, and really kind of just trust in what's going on, but don't believe everything you hear.
And your relationships this month will be largely with the dead.
Well, why not? I mean, I have lots of relationships with my dead people, and they're wonderful.
It's been very much so, very much so. Yeah, why not? And we'll see you next time for the full moon.
Take care, Armand. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.